We were talking one day, playing some pickleball. He says, "Hey, Shannon, I got this idea. I want to fly around all the 48 states and do this. You in?" I go, "Yeah, sounds good."
Shannon Yeager and Dean Matt are on a quest to play pickleball in 48 states in 48 days, setting a new Guinness World Record. Hi, I'm AJ, and welcome to the Pickleball Pilots Pickleball Life. What inspired this challenge?
About 7 years ago in Chicago, my wife and I were watching a documentary about this guy known as the Iron Cowboy. He did 50 Ironman triathlons in 50 states in 50 days. One triathlon a lifetime for me is probably something I'll still never do. One triathlon a year for people that are healthy is probably a lot. He did 50 in 50 days. So that inspired me. So thinking that, wow, I've got a plane and I like to play golf.
Wait, so this was originally a golf challenge?
See, now he actually moved to a golfing community because he thought he was going to golf in his retirement. But you know what he does more of? Now that he started pickleball, he's playing pickleball. See, and that happens, I think, to a lot of people that are not as familiar with it. They get into it. That's what I'm real excited to see as we go across the country is how people have kind of gravitated towards this. I just consider it more easy to approach. It's social. You know, I'm a leveled out 3-0. Maybe on a great day, I'm a 3-5 player. Don't expect much improvement over my lifetime. I have a little bit. I'm carrying a little extra weight here. But you know what? It gets me out. It gets me doing stuff. And I really love all the aspects around it, who I meet. Some days I'm playing up, some days I'm playing down. It doesn't matter. I can't really say I've walked away from a day of pickleball and say, that was a terrible waste of time. I don't think I've ever said that. I know I've said that on tennis, and I definitely know I said it on racquetball.
How did the two of you prepare for this challenge?
Shannon's first worry was, I got to get really good at this, take lessons or go. I said, Shannon, I don't know if it's so much about us beating people or not. It's about telling 48 stories of where and how and who's playing pickleball across the United States. So the gameplay itself is not going to be extraneous. How we got into a Guinness World Record, I kind of tried working with them in the past, trying to get, you know, find the parameters for certain of these trips. They didn't even have a record for pickleball. So I used my previous relationship with them and say, hey, how about having a record for pickleball? And floated some ideas by them. I think they told me no 2 or 3 times. So then they said, okay, we give up. They probably didn't want to listen to me anymore.
What has been the most challenging aspect so far?
For me, what's been strenuous is the logistics. You know, first thing we did, I found a partner. Step two is I didn't even know if they play pickleball, you know, up in North Dakota or Wyoming, or so I made a few calls. Do you have pickleball? Oh yeah, everyone's got pickleball.
Even Alaska?
Oh God, yeah. Every major city has pickleball communities, pickleball Facebook groups. So after we found out that pickleball's played everywhere, we did a route, and the routing is kind of on the interior of the United States as much as possible. You know, we're not going to Miami because it's another 300 miles out of the way. Then we started to look for the venues. You know, we didn't do it the other way around. We didn't say, "Hey, Dean, I know somebody up in Seattle." No, well, it's not along our route. We're not going to bend that far. I've dealt with the visitors bureaus for the most part in most of these states where I didn't have previous connections. It's not like I'm pulling teeth. It's like this is so cool. We've got to be a part of it. But some states have no, zero professional pickleball presence. There's been no tournaments there. There's no professional teams there. So when we go to a state like West Virginia, we're playing at the Greenbrier, one of the premier resorts in America. The PGA stops there. The U.S. Tennis stops there. They have a beautiful outdoor court, holds probably 5,000 people. We'll probably have a couple dozen there watching us with the media and whatnot.
So you're not camping out on the plane?
No, no, no. Do you understand that in that plane we have about that much distance between us for we have 83 hours to fly together, okay, when this is all said and done. So yes, showers are really important.
How much time have the two of you spent together?
What do we have, like three or four maybe flight hours together? Maybe four?
Yeah, four, and we're not sick of each other yet. Maybe on the fifth hour we will be.
So, what do you need to do to complete the Guinness World Record?
So the official record is fastest time to play a game of pickleball in 48 states. When it comes to playing the game itself, we just have to play one game to 11. It's got to be on a regular court, whatever, however that's defined.
Regular by size. It doesn't have to be a permanent court. Some will be taped with a portable net.
We're going to be playing at airport ramps. in two locations, Memphis, Tennessee, and Frederick, Maryland. In Frederick, we're not staying overnight. We're going to land, roll out of the plane. The court will be there. We'll throw the permanent net up. We'll play. We'll refuel and get out of there. We'll probably be out of there in 2 hours.
Now, don't skip forward. I'm going to take just 30 seconds to thank this week's sponsor, Pickleball Coffee Company. It's a great cup of coffee, and purchasing their coffee means you're supporting a small business owner who's just as passionate about pickleball as he is about coffee. Eric not only runs the company, he sources the coffee beans and roasts each batch himself. Click the link in the description to get your Pickleball Coffee Company coffee. And thank you, Eric, for sponsoring this video. What are some potential issues you might face along the way?
We've got all of our dates and venues set. I'm making another round of phone calls just to make sure people remember that we're coming to town. And now the only thing that keeps me up at night and Shannon is, are we going to be able to hold that schedule? Because there's going to be weather. There could be a mechanical problem that comes up. There could be air traffic control delays. Who knows?
Yeah, and the other thing to consider is that Dean's been flying since he was relatively young. One thing he hasn't done is do per day somewhere between 3 to 6 hours of flight in a day, every day for quite a few days. People don't realize that in these smaller aircraft, when we fly down low, it's dehydrating on you. It can lead to headaches. It can wear you down a lot faster than people realize. And that's why it's really good that often pickleball is played with a partner, because this is a best idea done with two people, because there's no way one pilot really should do this. This definitely needs a safety behind it. And so the two of us together will be able to do this and mitigate those kind of problems.
I'm assuming you're not streaming or recording yourself the whole time.
That's correct. Well, there is a minimum standard, even for the, believe it or not, for the world record. I have to have about at least a minimum of 10 minutes of video per day. Plus I have to have video evidence of the people we played. Plus I have to have, they don't have to show the whole game, but they have to show those people at least wearing the outfits, and paddles. And then I have to have them sign at the end with the score. And that's why I also have to have the GPS tracker there, because they have to actually track that my body and his body physically made it to the venue to play the pickleball and then physically made it back out of there. So we've got some GoPros. I'm sure, because I'll have them available at all times, 83 hours together, who knows what's going to happen.
However it turns out, I'm sure it's going to be quite an experience. So tell me about Vince.
So Vince is going to be one of the last people that we play. He's going to be our opponent when we get back here. Vince Golden is a local treasure here in Sarasota. There's Vince Goldens in communities across the United States. We're playing against this team, and I ended up losing. Someone kind of pulled me aside later. He said, "You realize you just lost to a 92-year-old?" I see him virtually every day at the courts. God bless him. He may not run the fastest, but his ground strokes are perfect. So we're going to play him, and then the other person in that twosome is going to be my wife. I just feel guilty.
It's like, thanks for putting up with this dumb idea.
I don't know how Shannon does it, but so yeah, we're going to have a good time at that last stop. That's going to be our last stop. Yeah.
Why don't you take a moment and let people know how they can follow your journey?
We have a website, mucho-dean-aero.com. It's got all of our routing, our venues, our dates.
On that website, not only will we be able to use like FlightAware to track where the airplane goes, I'm also going to have with me a locator that will do check-in. So you'll actually be able to track in real time as we go out to the venue. When we land, we get in the car and we go over, it'll be tracking us. We go to play the game and I'll press a check-in and it'll show everybody, hey, you're actually at this place playing a game right now.
Well, I'm sad you're not coming to LA, but I'm excited to follow your journey.
Getting out of here May 1, so we're about ready to go.
Thanks for watching. Join me next time where I'll be speaking with Tracy DeJager, a single mom from Portland who was recently drafted for the MLP.